Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a fun video for y'all. This is definitely something new for me. I mentioned in a few videos, some of them are probably private now, that I will be homeschooling my children. I also, when I kind of brought that up on this channel, I said I have to, my number one goal with homeschooling is to be out there in the community, putting my kids out in the community. And if you know anything about me in real life, you know that that is the complete opposite of my personality. I am so introverted. It's so painful at times because it's like, why am I like this? So I knew going into this that I would have to put myself out there for my children. The things we do for our kids, right? So with that being said, with homeschooling, obviously you want your children to be socialized. That is the number one thing that people who are not necessarily educated in homeschooling question. They question the socialization. So I'm not even going to go into that into this video, but there are so many ways that you can socialize your children. If you are thinking about homeschooling and you're worried about that, do not be worried about that because there is a million ways you can do that. One of the ways that we are doing that is through a co-op. They have other extracurriculars that they're doing. We do like tons of stuff during the week. But one of the things that we are doing is co-op, and that is what this video is about. Sign the kids up for co-op again. This is our second time doing it, but this time I'm going to be teaching a class. So that is what this video is about. I'm going to kind of share with you guys my plans for the class and what it's going to be about and all that fun stuff in case you are also searching the internet for co-op teaching class ideas. Hopefully this video pops up and will help you. But that was like my number one thing with homeschooling my children. I wanted them to be in the community. I wanted them to be a part of a community. And that comes with me getting out of my shell. So the way I am doing that is I signed up to teach a co-op class. And my husband thought I was a little crazy for signing up because he knows how I am. But honestly, I'm excited. I've had a really fun time planning the classes. I just hope that it executes and goes well. I am teaching 3 to 5 year olds. There's 16 kids, I think, in the class. So it's going to be quite a big class. But I will have helpers. So I'm sure everything is going to be fine. But I'm just an anxious, introverted person. So obviously I'm a little stressed, but I'm excited. So anyways, I wanted to share with you guys the plans that I have because I think they're fun. I think they are definitely something that 3 and 5 year olds are going to love. I'm hoping anyways. So I know that my 3 and 5 year old would absolutely love these. So I figured I would share them with you. For my class, I decided to do a STEM class. We're going to call it the Little Makers STEM class because they're going to be little engineers. I went all out. I even bought them some construction hats because we are going to get down and dirty. Okay, not really dirty, but we are going to get down. Okay, we are going to build bridges, towers, houses. We're going to do some stuff. They needed a safety hat for all these activities. I also plan on getting safety vests, but I don't know. They're a little pricey, and I'm debating if it's worth it or not. But I think the hats are fun. I found these at Hobby Lobby for 99 cents a piece, I think. So I got 18 of them just in case one breaks. 2 more kids sign up late, just in case. I got 2 extra. So hopefully these will last throughout the co-op. We'll see because they're not the best quality, and to be expected. Like I said, they were only 99 cents, but they are kind of cheap. So if this is something you're interested in, I'll link it down below. We'll set those right there. I have everything planned in this little lovely planner, and let's start with the first class. So these are 8 classes. They're 1 a week. And they're 30-minute time frames, which I'm actually kind of thankful for because I feel like that's just going to make everything a little bit easier on me. I don't have to worry about keeping them occupied for a long period of time. And I think it's just going to make the class go by super fast. So for each week, I've kind of took over whatever week we're doing it, the planner, and kind of wrote down all the materials that I'm going to need, things that I need to remember to say to the children, just in case I forget the whole point of what we're doing, I kind of wrote down little tidbits of things that I need to remember to relay to the kids. I wrote down the materials that we were going to need, like items to bring, like a checklist for like the weekend before. That way I know like what I need to pack and what I need to get ready. I also wrote down like timestamps. Like my intro will be about like 5 minutes, explaining like what we're doing. Like the actual process might be about 13 minutes. If it's like a thing we have to test, that could be like 7, and then a cleanup 3 to 5, kind of that ordeal. Just so I know like where we're at time wise. And then I also wrote down like a reflection portion to ask questions at the end of the class to like get their brains thinking. First class, we are going to be doing a 3 Little Pigs STEM challenge. I also want to add, I found a lot of these on the internet. Some of them I've changed a little bit, like tweaked with the age group and like the materials. So these are not like all original ideas. Let me preface that. Some of these are things that I found through Pinterest, Google, TikTok. All right, so the 3 Little Pigs challenge, I decided to do that on the first day because I think that would be really fun for them, and just like a good way to like ease into the class and what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to I debated on if I should read the 3 Little Pigs, but honestly, we don't have a ton of time. Like I said, it's only 30 minutes, and I just feel like that might take up too much time. So I'm kind of going to ask them like, hey, do you guys remember this story? And kind of do like a summary, like a fast, quick summary of the story. Ask them questions, and then we're going to get into building. So we're going to build 3 houses. I'm going to split them up into groups, probably depending on where they're sitting at, just because I think that would be easier. So it might be a different mix of ages in each group. For piggies, I found this like pig doodle. I'll have to, if I can link it down below, I'll link where I got the doodles from. But I printed them out and cut them out, taped them to these like plastic cups, because these are going to be their pigs that they can sit in the middle of their houses. So we are going to build 3 different houses out of 3 different materials, because that is what they do in the 3 Little Pigs. So I have 3 different materials. We're going to be doing Mega Blocks. We're going to do a house out of Magnetiles. And all this stuff is stuff that I've already had at my home. And then y'all are sitting on my wooden blocks. So they're going to be split into groups. Each group is going to build their house out of whatever material they have. They're going to sit their piggy inside the house. Really, the gist of this activity is for them to realize what shapes they are using to build this house. How can they make their house strong? How can they make their house tall? Because it has to be tall enough to fit their pig. And what to do if their house falls. So once they have completed their house, I'm going to have my hair dryer and I'm going to walk around and I'm going to try to huff and puff and blow their house down with my hair dryer. I thought it would be funny if I could like figure out a way to dress up my hair dryer as a wolf, like maybe like tape some ears to it or something. I haven't quite figured that out, but I think that would be a fun concept. I will say, I haven't really mentioned this to anybody yet, but I am going to mention like sensory issues. Just because I know my son is like a little sensitive with loud noises. The hair dryer doesn't necessarily bother him, but it could bother him if he was in like a different environment. So I am going to make sure the parents are aware that we are going to be using a hair dryer, just in case their little one is not cool with that, or if they need like earphones. I am going to bring 2 pairs that I have just in case, because I just don't want to start the class out badly. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun activity, and I think the kids are going to love it. And I think it will pass the time fast. And then after we're done testing the houses, we can kind of discuss like which material was the best as far as like the blocks and the mega blocks and the magnets. Did their house stay standing? Did it fall? Is there anything they could do to like adjust it to make it stand? And just basically practicing like engineering and building, problem solving, teamwork, cause and effect. So I think that is going to be an excellent first day class for them. I have everything like written out on paper as well, just to like, I have it in 2 spots because that's just how my brain works. Like I have to have it written down so I don't forget anything. So that is our first little STEM activity. I'm super excited for that one. The next one we are going to be doing is tower building. I actually might switch this to the next class. I haven't decided. We're going to see how the first class goes. If I have to tweak anything, I will. But it's really just going to be like, let's see what works best with the kids, because it's a larger group than I originally expected when I was planning these classes. So for the next class, we are doing a tower building challenge. All right, so for this challenge, we're going to be using solo cups, which I have to buy. I haven't bought them yet. And I'm thinking of using some of these egg cartons. I could also use construction paper. So I haven't fully got the materials down pat yet to see like what's going to work best. But the gist of this challenge is to build a tower as tall as you can. And we're going to kind of talk about towers. I really want to find like a small, short, like cheap book that describes towers for the kids. I really need to go to the library and look for that. That's why I might push this back a little bit, because I have not found that book yet. Because I think that would be like more beneficial if I can find like a short one to read it and kind of like explain like towers to the kids. Basically starting out with a wider foundation and kind of like working our way to the top. And then I think I'm going to bring some kind of like small material, maybe some little people. We could do little people to the class and have them use the little people to like test their towers. That is the plan for that class. So that one's going to be like super sweet and short, and they're also going to have their safety helmets on because they're making towers and they're going to be tall and they could fall. So for this activity, I'm going to be like asking them questions like, what can you do to make your tower stronger? What can you do to make it taller? What happens if it gets too tall? And what can you try to do if it falls? Like, how can you build it differently to make it not fall? So for the third class, I'm doing a floor is lava challenge. I went to Hobby Lobby and I found some like little counting animals. I was looking for the bears, but they didn't have the bears. So like a lion, hippo, rhino, a sheep, an elephant, like just a bunch of like little counting things in here. So that's what we're going to use for this challenge. So the concept for this one is today the floor is lava and our tiny animals need to get across safely. They can't touch the floor because it's lava or they'll fall into the lava. And so their job is going to be to build a path or a bridge to help them cross. So for this one, I think we are going to be using solo cups and popsicle sticks. I found these wider popsicle sticks from Hobby Lobby. These were 99 cents. I actually think I might need to go back and get more of these. I'm using these for another class, and I don't know, now that I know how many kids I have, I just don't want to not have enough. So I probably will be going back to Hobby Lobby to get a little bit more of those, just in case some break or we lose them. You just never know. So basically for this, I'm going to have them like spread out the solo cups across the tables, and they can build like little bridges with the popsicle sticks, just so their animals can walk across so they don't fall in the lava. I think I'm also going to get like a red plastic tablecloth, like some cheap ones from the Dollar Tree, because that is going to be our lava. And I'm going to have it spread out on the table, have the cups out, and they can all like take turns like making their bridges higher if they need to like reach higher ground because maybe they're trying to get over a mountain. So we can kind of like the tower challenge, we're just going to stack up the cups a little bit and then like build bridges. So that should be a fun one for them. Skills that are practiced in this challenge is engineering, construction, balance and stability, problem solving, trial and error, teamwork and collaboration, and counting basic math. Another class idea is the pom-pom obstacle course challenge. I'm going to get some paper plates for them, and I think what I'm going to do for this one specifically, since I have a bunch of kids and I know how many kids I have now, I think I'm going to go ahead and like pre-cut a bunch of like materials like construction paper, maybe some pipe cleaners, just cut them like really small, because we're going to do, I'll insert a picture of the idea I've seen on Pinterest. We're going to make an obstacle course. So they need like smaller pieces, and that way we don't have to worry about scissors just because there's so many kids in there. And I'm not sure like who is good with scissors and who isn't. And I only have 2 pair of like kid safety scissors. These are the pom-poms I picked up from Hobby Lobby. They are the smallest ones I could find. So like I said, we are going to make little obstacle courses out of paper plates. We're going to glue them on the paper plates, and they can kind of like move their pom-poms around the obstacle course. So they're going to see like what they can do to help their pom-poms over a ramp or around a wall, and how they can make sure the pom-pom doesn't fall. So this is going to practice cause and effect, trial and error, problem solving, creativity, and fine motor skills, early physics concepts like motion, gravity, and speed. So this should be a fun one. This is kind of one that I'm like a little iffy on. Like I'm not sure like how the process is going to go as far as like gluing all the pieces down. So this might be one that I save until the end so I can kind of like see what we're gonna like need to work out as far as kinks wise once I like know the children. The next class is gonna be a sink or float class. So this is just pretty much self-explanatory. I know kids love sink or float. My kids love playing that. They play it all the time. They play it in the bathtub with their toys. So I know that they will love this, and I think I'm gonna have it I'm going to make this like one of the last classes, so it's a little bit warmer outside because we might have to do this one outside. I'm going to get some bins, not huge bins, probably something like this size maybe, and split the kids up into different teams and grab the same objects for each team. And we're going to do an experiment. I think I'm going to buy some clipboards. And instead of like writing things out, we're just going to do like pictures of each item. Like I'm going to make a sheet with the pictures and what they think it's going to do and what it actually does. That way they can make their predictions as a team and then we can test it as a team. So that is my plan for that one. I'm really excited about that one because I think they're going to love it. It's water. What kid doesn't like playing in water? The STEM skills practice for this class is going to be making predictions, hypothesis, observing and comparing results, trial and error, problem solving, understanding basic physics like density and buoyancy, teamwork, and communication. Next class is going to be a bridge builder class. I've actually already wrote this down and I was going to use Legos, but I really got to thinking about that and I think that might be difficult for the 3 and 5-year-olds because sometimes it's a little hard to to take the Legos apart. So instead of doing Legos, I think I'm going to do solo cups and popsicle sticks and tape. I'm going to spread out. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some poster board or like larger, I don't know, some type of larger paper, and I'm going to draw like a river, basically like a blue line across the paper, and I'm going to spread that out on the table. And their job is to build a bridge to cross the river. So I guess they could work in teams or they could work with the person in front of them. And then they can have their solo cups on one side, solo cups on the other side, tape the solo cup, like put tape across it, and then lay down their popsicle sticks to make a bridge. And then we can either test it with animals to walk across the bridge, or we can test it with Hot Wheels to drive across the bridge. I think that is going to be another fun activity for them. And that one is just a good way that they can practice like building structures, use the safety hats, balance and stability, problem solving, trial and error, teamwork, and collaboration again. So I think that would be a really fun class for them. The last 2 classes I actually need to sit down and plan out because I haven't done that yet. But I know the gist of one of the classes I'm going to do, because most of this stuff has been like building and like engineering type things. So I think I'm going to do like a more like science, like space class. So for this one, we are going to be doing like constellations. So I'm going to I haven't decided for sure on the materials because I wanted to use food, but then I started thinking about it and there might be like, I guess I could ask the parents before I fully decide, but I just didn't want anybody to be allergic to anything or it'd be something that their mom and dad don't want them to eat. Because I was originally thinking pretzel sticks and marshmallows, but I could also use toothpicks and Play-Doh or toothpicks and marshmallows. So I really need to figure that out, but we're going to do that. They're going to learn about constellations, and they're going to build constellations. Like I'm going to have some printouts of different ones that they can build with the toothpicks and whatever materials we decide to use that they can do on their own. They don't have to be in teams. So that is one class that I'm going to be planning as well. And for the last class, I honestly have no idea what I'm going to be doing yet. I have a few ideas in mind. I'm thinking of making boats and putting our little animals in the boat. Figure out some kind of material that we can use. I've seen people use like aluminum foil. I've also seen people use like larger like bottle caps. So I guess it really just depends like what I can find. And I have like a longer like plastic bin like this, but it's really long. And I think that would be a good thing to use. So that would be another one that would be like towards the end of the co-op semester when it's warmer outside, that we can go outside. We can make our boats in the class, you know, kind of go over like what's going to help our boat not sink and like what we can do to make it go. And then we can bring it outside, fill up the bin with water. I'm going to have some straws, and we can test our boats. So they can like stand at one end, blow through their straw to get their boat to go to the other end with the animal in it, with it not sinking. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. I haven't like wrote all the gist, all the like specific details down, but that is my plan, I believe, for the last class. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope if you were searching for co-op class ideas that this came up on your page and it was helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any other ideas. I think I'm going to put this up before like the classes are done, depending on like my video schedule. So if you guys want updates on how all this worked out for me, let me know and I will gladly update you guys either in the comment or in a new video. Thanks for watching. Bye.